What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about some extremely important updates for MW3 Zombies, what you may have missed from the mid-season 1 drop, plus a preview of season 2. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a reminder, there's plenty of brand new coverage that's going up over on detonated.com for those out there who just want to go ahead and read some other articles for further context, and there's of course plenty of tweets every single hour on Detonated's Twitter. Now, as a huge reminder, Treyarch did confirm with the launch of Season 1 Reloaded that you can now get free rewards just by playing a full match of MWZ before the start of Season 2 on February 7th. By completing a full match, which means successfully exfilling, you will get your hands on 3 legendary ether tools, 3 flawless Ethereum crystals, and then of course one of each type of wonder weapon case for the ray gun, the Wunderwaffe DG2, the Scorcher, and even the VR11. Now, these items will then be found in your purchase tab over in your MWZ inventory stash. Hopefully that's very clear. I know when the mid-season update initially released, we were like, wait, did we just get these rewards for killing Dokkaebi, or what did we actually do? And it turns out it's just finishing a full match successfully before the start of Season 2. So it's very kind of Treyarch to make up for a lot of the unfortunate crashing that did occur during preseason, Season 1, and beyond. It's been really frustrating, especially without the ability to rejoin a match or some way to recover your inventory if your game crashed, since that of course isn't your fault. I know you don't lose your inventory if the server disconnects. I think you just keep what you currently had on your person, but hopefully some updates for that do come within Season 2. Now, speaking of Season 2, we have the following tweet here in which somebody wrote, "Just wanted to say we are cooking for Season 2's MWZ content." If you're wondering who exactly tweeted this is an associate game designer over at Infinity Ward. Now, if you guys are confused as to why IW is tweeting about zombies, it's totally possible that Treyarch, of course, is collaborating with multiple studios to bring zombies to life inside of MW3. I'm sure that's how this game mode exists anyway. They collaborated with additional studios to bring Urzikstan to the zombies experience, or maybe Infinity Ward took over zombies from Treyarch. It's unclear if little by little Treyarch just starts stepping away from this mode to make sure that all hands are on deck for Black Ops 2024. That's certainly a possibility, but I don't think Treyarch fully is stepping away from MWZ just yet. At the very least, they went ahead and maybe provided an outline for what updates should come to this mode over the course of 2024, and other studios are coming in to help as Treyarch slowly steps away from this by, let's say, the end of Season 5, Season 6, and then they'll have everybody working on their next Call of Duty, which by that point, the game will be ready to go. But I think until then, they're probably going to make sure that they have as many people as possible working on their next full zombies experience, let alone campaign and even multiplayer. Now, that tweet alone has me really excited to know what is coming to MWZ with Season 2. Obviously, plenty of things have already leaked out, but I'm sure there'll also be plenty of surprises, and we'll circle back to that in a second. Please refer to timestamps down below if you so please. But taking a look at the Dokkaebi Warlord boss inside of Urzikstan, I wanted to give my thoughts real quickly since I haven't been able to make a zombies video over the last few days. I've been really busy with other things that I wanted to go ahead and cover first, but she's located over at the skyscraper, and to answer anybody's question, yes, Pack-a-Punch could still spawn here. It's of course RNG if it does. If you're wondering what happened to the Legacy Fortress, the cool news is that Treyarch did confirm over on Reddit, Legacy has not been removed from MWZ. Instead, you'll actually randomly see Legacy or Dokkaebi in your matches of zombies. You just may never see both in a single game, which I do think is a bit of a flaw with the way fortresses work here inside of MW3 Zombies. I think both should be in the game at once, in the case them folks out there do need to complete a fortress to go ahead and finish their act mission, or they just want to experience a new Warlord for themselves. They shouldn't have to worry about the fact that other players might beat them to it, and then the rest of the match is just pointless since the fortress doesn't actually respawn in your Warlord. It's just done for the remainder of your game. So maybe they'll change that in the future since several other Warlords are actually leaked out, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, if you guys out there stuff do that act mission to go ahead and defeat a Warlord, you can defeat either Legacy or Dokkaebi depending on who spawns into your match. Beginning next week though is when you'll start seeing Legacy pop up again. As of right now, it's just going to be Dokkaebi to celebrate the launch of Season 1 Reloaded. But yes, you can actually cheese this Warlord. Although you would typically need a Fortress keycard to go ahead and access the new Warlord boss, you could actually cheese this one, which I believe is a bit of an oversight from Treyarch. Maybe it is intentional that you could cheese it. I mean, you could just go ahead and use a Scorcher to fly to the top of this skyscraper, you know, go from building to building, or you can look at the building just across the street from this skyscraper, and there's a zip line that, for whatever reason, hasn't been closed off. off, allowing you to just go straight to the roof. Not sure how this was missed over at the studio. I mean, I don't know what happened here, but there is a crane that is blocked off, not allowing you to get up here. So I'm assuming that maybe they'll end up patching this in the next major updates, because if they don't, then that is a bit odd. But overall, you can still use a Scorcher either way to get to this rooftop. That probably can't be fixed unless they create an invisible barrier preventing you from getting here. That's a bit unlikely. Now, I get it. It feels more like a DMZ update since you're not going to really see zombies on this rooftop, but the fight is pretty fun. Dokkaebi using your drones is pretty cool to watch. They'll just kind of fly away and go to different parts of the skyscraper. It's pretty interactive, and I'd highly recommend bringing a Storm Ender launcher, or any launcher really, to take down the drones even quicker. Storm Ender definitely is best, but yeah, if you use this against her sentry guns, her drones, you'll kind of just do a little cakewalk through this entire boss fight and be able to defeat her pretty quickly. I also spawned in a dog, which funny enough ended up killing her for me here in this gameplay, as you're about to see. I almost rarely even see her die when I go ahead and do this boss fight, since usually another teammate ends up killing her quickly, or a piece of equipment does. But the sad thing is, when it comes to the reward rift that you'll end up seeing after killing Dokkaebi, you're not really going to get much. Every time you go ahead and defeat Dokkaebi, she will drop her KVD Enforcer blueprint that she was holding. It'll be in the reward rift, which you can use for the rest of that match, but you can't exfil with it and unlock it permanently for use in other game modes. It's just a one-time use for the remainder of that game, and there'll be other random loot in here. I've seen wonder weapon cases drop randomly, 3-play vests, gas mask, pieces of equipment. It's decent loot, again, completely up to RNG. Most of the time you might not get anything really worthwhile, but for the times that you do, I mean, hey, you get something, but really there is no other reason to go ahead and face Dokkaebi again, since you don't really get that much. Now, the mid-season update didn't really add much to zombies or fix a lot of the things that we were hoping to see fixed, but I'm sure when it comes to a stash size increase or a wallet system, those things are likely coming with the beginning of Season 2, hopefully no later than that. But they did revert the decoy nerf, so instead of it lasting 6 seconds, it now lasts 8 again like it did at launch. They increased the monkey bomb duration by about 2 seconds, it's now 10.5, and they also attract dogs, so that's better than nothing, right? And there's some other bug fixes and quality of life changes for friendly hellhounds, being able to revive newly added squad mates. And speaking of squads, you can now leave a squad in MWZ, a feature that we never saw in DMZ last year for MW2. You can now leave a squad, which is really important if you guys out there just want to go ahead and do your own thing and not be tied to some squad mates or rely on them for votes to enter the Dark Ether. So pretty cool stuff to see here just for the mid-season update. Didn't expect much this time around for Reloaded, but I'm happy that we're still getting some pretty healthy updates for the zombie experience here. But as far as what's next, remember those containment levels we talked about a couple of weeks ago? These are essentially the new version of exfil streaks that we saw from DMZ. So images did fully leak out of what these do look like. I'm expecting these to come out at the beginning of Season 2. So here are how the containment levels work, right? You don't just have to go ahead and exfil to create this exfil streak. It's actually a bit more than that. So by completing 2 contracts then exfilling, it doesn't have to be in the same game, but just by having completed 2 contracts total in your zombies career, then doing an exfil, you'll start with 500 points. By then doing 5 contracts total and exfilling, you'll get 5 armor plates when you spawn in. By completing 8 contracts and then exfilling, you'll go ahead and start each match with 1000 essence. For doing 12 contracts, you'll get 30% off your perk machine cost. 20 contracts, start with 1500 essence. 30 contracts, you'll get an increased contract payout in your matches. 40 contracts, you'll start your match with 2500 essence. 50 contracts, you'll have 50% off your mystery box. And then for 75 contracts, you'll spawn in with 5000 essence. Last but not least, for having completed 100 contracts, probably beginning with Season 2 or at some point, then exfilling, you will of course get 20% off the Pack-a-Punch cost in every match that you play. Now, the numbers could of course be tweaked by the time this feature actually does release, but in case again you guys are confused as to how this works, this is based on how many contracts you've done, I guess beginning at a certain point, then moving forward, and you have to go ahead and exfil for those contracts to count for that game that you just played. Hopefully that's very clear. If you have any questions about this, drop it down below and I'll try to answer this the best that I can. What's weird about the leaked image though is that it does say somewhere at the bottom that B21 and Koshai Complex exfils do count. I'm gonna guess that's a placeholder and definitely a mistake, because I don't think there's gonna be any DMZ connection for MW3 Zombies, and I doubt that exfils in DMZ will count at all towards your progress here with these containment levels. But then new warlords were discovered yet again. We have warlords known as Garrod, Archangel, Bronco, Ursa, Kalensky, Sokolov, Payback. Now, with this many that are leaked out, I'm wondering if they'll add in multiple warlords to a single fortress. Will they just have dozens of different fortress spawns now with one warlord in each, and it's randomized as to which one you get in each game to ensure that every match feels a bit different? I'm wondering how they're going to balance this out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'd prefer if they just have multiple warlords and fortresses accessible in a single game. Maybe for stability purposes they can't do that, but then again, maybe we'll just see something like that in Season 2 or beyond. Also, some other features that I'm really excited about, and hopefully they're not canceled or left over from other game modes like DMZ. Apparently, a dead drop locker, which you can only find right now in the Dark Ether to reduce your cooldown on your initial weapon slots. Hopefully that also impacts the cooldown for schematics. That would be phenomenal. But also an exfil balloon, a citadel, portable buy stations, a weapons locker, I guess the trade weapons, defib, and then something called decon station black sites, as well as ATMs. These are apparently features coming to MWZ at some point. These all sound pretty important, and honestly, if a Reloaded update ended up adding in features like that, that would be insane to kind of give Zombies fans something during the mid-season, some really cool quality of life updates to just improve the pacing of the gameplay, and then leave the beginning of seasons for actual new content, you know, Easter eggs, bosses, maps, act missions. That's the way I like to see Zombies updated, but honestly, it's because of how minimal Season 1 Reloaded was for Zombies. Let's see as much as we can at the beginning of Season 2 on February the 7th. We also have what is called a Rift Gate Key. Not sure what exactly this is, but this got data mined as Season 2 content, along with a schematic case for the VR11. Now, previously, a schematic was leaked out for the Bloodburner Ether bike, which is rumored to release with Season 2, so the beginning of Season 2 should be a bit of a banger in terms of how much gets added in, and we also have evidence to support that thanks to that Infinity Ward associate developer who said that they were cooking for the Season 2 content for MWZ. Some stuff could be saved for Reloaded, but I do think a schematic case for the VR11 was definitely a given. I just think whenever they add in a new schematic for a Wonder Weapon, that's probably going to be tied to a new map or a big Easter egg quest of sorts that provides you with a unique reward rift that we hadn't previously seen in the Zombies mode. But lastly, these are new objectives, which could be actual missions, could just be side quests and little activities around Urzikstan. It's unclear how these things are going to be incorporated, but don't forget, Treyarch to confirm that we are going to be seeing additional Act 4 missions added throughout post-launch. I know even Act 5 missions, or just something called Act 5 was leaked. That's probably for a different map, not Urzikstan. But here's what did get discovered. New attuned items, and then objectives like hunting down Merc cargo choppers, and I think it'll be a chopper that has a care package on it similar to what we saw in Cold War Outbreak, something called Summon, charging an ether amplifier and pulling the HVT alpha out, or killing it before it retreats, defending a turret, protecting it until it fully boots up, rescuing scientists from Mercs, something called a relic hunt, and also something called Survive, essentially the Cold War Outbreak holdout with no escape though. You're kind of locked in a certain space, unlike Outlast we currently have in Urzikstan. These are things that were discovered, which again may be objectives, could be Act 4 missions, could even be something like just side quest little activities that you'll find randomly around the environment. And after Dark Ether that we currently have inside of Urzikstan, or excuse me, Albagra Fortress, but you spawn into it via Urzikstan, I'm sure that'll also get updates of some sort with some future seasons. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on these extremely important updates that got leaked out for MW3 Zombies? How are you feeling about the mid-season 1 update with Dokkaebi and the other quality of life changes that we did get? Plus, leave all your feedback down below on everything else we discussed. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.